Have you ever felt like you were loving with both hands, but she was holding back with just one finger? You gave your time, you gave your heart, you gave your soul, but still, something felt missing. Why? Because it was. What you were calling love wasn't love at all. It was you trying to feel enough. It was your ego, hungry, desperate, starving, hoping she'd give you just one more smile, one more text, one more sign that you matter. Let's not pretend anymore. When you're the one always reaching out, when you're the one always trying harder, when she's hot one day and cold the next, that's not romance. That's you chasing breadcrumbs. And what does that feel like? It feels like walking barefoot on sharp rocks. Painful, confusing, never-ending. You ask yourself, why can't she love me back? But maybe the real question is, why am I trying to earn something that should be freely given? Society tells you, be sweet, be gentle, be more loving. It says win her over, show her she's your everything. But guess what? That kind of advice breaks men. Because when you give everything to someone who gives you almost nothing, you don't win her heart. You lose yours. Now let me tell you what a stoic man does instead. He feels the pain, yes. He notices the imbalance, yes. But then he stops. He doesn't cry for more. He doesn't try harder. He gets silent. He creates space. He chooses himself. Because he understands something most men never learn. Chasing love that isn't mutual is a trap. And a trap isn't a place for kings. So what do you do when love feels one-sided? You don't beg. You don't complain. You detach. Not to play a game, but to heal the wound. Because a man who walks away from what's hurting him walks towards something stronger. Freedom. Peace. Power. And here's the crazy part. When she feels your absence. When she realizes you're not waiting anymore. She might feel something she never expected. Regret. Respect. And maybe even desire. But even if she doesn't, you still win. Because real love doesn't come from chasing. It comes when you're whole, with or without her. What if I told you your silence could scream louder than your words? What if doing nothing could do everything? Sounds crazy, right? But it's real, and it's one of the strongest moves a man can ever make. You see, most guys, they panic. She doesn't text back, and suddenly they're blowing up her phone. She pulls away, and they chase like their life depends on it. But here's the truth that most men never learn. The more noise you make, the more invisible you become. Yes, read that again. Every time you over-explain, over-text, over-prove, she sees less of your value. Because value doesn't chase. Value waits. It stands still. It makes the world come to it. Now let me tell you something powerful. A stoic man knows when to speak and when to vanish. He doesn't storm out in anger. He doesn't play games. He simply removes his energy. And that silence, it says everything. It says, I'm not here to compete for your attention. I do not need to earn love. I will not beg to be seen. And what happens next? That's when it starts. The woman who was unsure suddenly wonders where you went. The woman who gave you scraps now feels your distance like a storm cloud. She starts asking, did I lose him? Why isn't he chasing me like before? Who has his attention now? This is not a trick. This is the truth of masculine power. The man who walks away from confusion walks straight into clarity. Because when you're always there, always reaching, always chasing, she doesn't feel your worth. But when you go quiet, when you disappear into your purpose, suddenly your presence becomes rare. And guess what? What's rare becomes valuable. Here's the part most men don't realize. Absence isn't just about walking away. It's about walking towards something greater. Your goals, your mission, your peace. When you stop chasing someone who isn't all in, you start attracting everything that is. So ask yourself, are you afraid of being silent? Or are you ready to let the silence speak for you? Because in that silence, she might hear, for the first time ever, what a man of true value sounds like. Wait, what if the whole world lied to you? What if they told you that she is the prize, that you have to win her, that you must chase, impress, and prove yourself like a puppy begging for attention? But guess what? That mindset is the trap that breaks your spirit. And the truth will set you free. Listen carefully, because this will change everything. From the time you were a kid, people taught you to chase love, to do more, give more, be nice, be romantic. Always show her you care, right? But guess what most men get in return? Nothing. Maybe a short reply, maybe a fake smile, maybe just silence. And inside, you start to wonder, am I not good enough? Do I need to try harder? Why does she act like I'm invisible? Here's the painful truth. She doesn't value you because you don't value you. Let me make this clear, man. A stoic doesn't chase. He builds. He doesn't beg. He becomes. He doesn't try to win her over. He focuses on his own aura, his energy, his purpose. Because that's what makes him the prize. Imagine a king walking through his palace. Does he chase the people? Number. The people chase him. Why? Because his presence is strong. His time is rare. His value is obvious. And you must become that kind of man. Here's what women feel when they meet a man who sees himself as the prize. He's calm. He's not desperate. He doesn't need her. He chooses her. And that is what makes a woman's heart pound. Not a guy who sends flowers after one date. Not a guy who double texts and waits by his phone. She wants the man who is so focused on his mission that she has to work to keep his attention. Let's get real. If you treat her like a queen while acting like a servant, she'll treat you like one. But if you walk like you know who you are, if you move like your time is sacred, if you speak like you have nothing to prove, then she feels it. She sees the prize standing in front of her. And suddenly, you're not chasing her. She's chasing you. So next time you feel ignored, next time you feel like you're doing all the work, stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what would a man of value do? Because once you see yourself as the prize, you'll never chase scraps again. What if I told you that leaving does more than staying? That your silence can speak louder than any I love you? Sounds crazy, right? But let me show you why your absence can be the most powerful thing she's ever felt. Let's be honest. You've been trained to always be there, to answer fast, to be supportive, to show her how much you care by being present 24/7. But here's what nobody tells you. Being too present kills desire. Yes, you heard that right. When you're always available, always texting, always calling, you become ordinary, predictable, too easy to reach. And guess what happens to things that are too easy to reach? People stop valuing them. Think about your favorite song. If you hear it once in a while, it gives you goosebumps, right? But if someone plays it 100 times in a row, you get tired of it. It loses its magic. That's how attraction works. Space creates tension. Tension creates curiosity. Curiosity creates desire. So how does the Stoic man use this? Simple. He disappears. Not to play games, but because he's busy building his life. He's chasing his goals. He's training, learning, growing. He's not ignoring her. He's just not centering his life around her. And that makes her mind race. Where is he? Why isn't he replying? Who has his attention now? Suddenly you become the mystery, the fire, the puzzle she wants to figure out. This is not about ghosting. It's not about being rude. It's about prioritizing you. Because when a man has things to do, he doesn't sit around waiting for crumbs. He creates space. And space is where the spark lives. A woman falls in love with how you make her feel, and nothing makes her feel more drawn in than a man who knows how to step back. It gives her room to miss you, to crave you, to reach out to you. So the next time you feel that itch to message her again, pause, look in the mirror, and ask, am I giving her my energy? Or am I keeping it for my mission? Because when she sees you're not chasing, that's when she starts chasing you. Coming up in the next stage, we'll talk about the invisible energy you carry, your aura, and how building it can make her feel drawn to you, even without saying a word. Have you ever walked into a room without saying a word, and people just turned their heads to look at you. They didn't know why. You didn't say anything, but they felt something. That's not magic. That's AURA. And if you build it right, it speaks louder than any text, call, or gift ever could. Now let's get something clear. Your aura is not your clothes. It's not your money. It's not your looks. Your aura is the vibe you carry. It's your energy, your presence, your stillness, your calm. It's how you make people feel just by being in the same space. And when it comes to attraction, a strong aura is like gravity. It pulls her in, slowly, quietly, deeply. But here's the thing most men get wrong. They try to force attraction. They try to show off, try to impress her, try to win her attention. But the Stoic man doesn't need to try, because he understands something powerful. The less you try, the more she feels. You see, when a man is grounded, when he knows who he is, when he doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, he walks differently, talks differently, breathes differently. His words hit harder, his eyes hold more weight. His silence becomes louder than noise. That's what makes her stop scrolling. That's what makes her pause mid-sentence. That's what makes her think about you long after you're gone. Not what you said, but how she felt around you. So how do you build this silent power? You train, you learn, you grow, you face your pain, you sit with your emotions instead of running from them. You don't chase her energy. You create your own. And let her feel it without forcing it. When you have aura, you don't need to convince anyone of your value. They feel it. They sense it. They want to be around it. And that's why women chase the man with aura. He doesn't beg. He doesn't prove. He just is. So the next time you're tempted to explain yourself or win her back with words, stop, look inside, and ask, is my aura strong enough to be felt without me needing to speak? Because when it is, she'll come closer. She won't even know why, but she will. She's yelling. She's crying. She's testing you. And yet, you don't flinch. You don't snap. You don't chase. You just breathe. And in that moment, something changes. She feels something she can't explain. She doesn't know why, but her heart races. Her guard drops. Her mind says, what is it about him? That feeling she gets? It's not about muscles. It's not about money. It's not even about looks. It's about your emotional strength. It's the storm you don't react to. It's the peace you hold when everything around you is trying to break you. That calm energy, it's rare. It's powerful. It's what makes you stand out from 99% of other men. Most men, they react too fast. They get mad. They get scared. They start texting like crazy, calling non-stop, trying to fix everything right now. But the Stoic man, he doesn't chase noise. He listens. He pauses. He observes. And then he decides what's worth his energy. That's real control. That's what builds attraction without even trying. You see, emotional mastery isn't about pretending to feel nothing. It's not about becoming cold or fake. It's about choosing what deserves your fire and what deserves your silence. It's strength wrapped in stillness. And trust me, she feels it. When a man can't be shaken, when he stays steady when she's hot and cold, when he doesn't take every test personally, she starts to see him differently. Not like a boy, not like just another guy, but like a rock, a man she can't control but deeply respects. That respect, it grows into curiosity. That curiosity turns into obsession. Because when you don't explode, when you don't fall apart, when you don't need her approval every second, you give off the one thing that turns her on more than anything else. Security. Not the kind made of money or gifts, but the kind made of emotional power. So next time she tests you, next time you feel your heart racing, next time you want to scream or cry or panic, stop, breathe, wait, let the storm pass, because that's when she looks at you and says, "He's different." He walks into the room. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't try hard. But everyone looks, and she can't take her eyes off him. Why? Because he's not asking for attention. He owns it. That, my friend, is real confidence. And here's the truth. Confidence is not loud. It doesn't brag. It doesn't beg. It doesn't wear shiny chains or scream, "Look at me." Real confidence is quiet, but strong. It's the way you move, the way you speak, the way you stay calm when others shake. It's not in your clothes, not in your car, not in how many people follow you online. It's in your eyes, your energy, your belief that you are enough, even when no one claps for you. Most guys get this wrong. They chase approval. They talk too much. They try to prove something to everyone. But the stoic man, he doesn't need to perform. Why? Because his confidence comes from one thing: knowing who he is. He's been through the fire. He's faced rejection. He's made mistakes. He's been alone. And yet, he stands tall. Because his worth isn't built on her likes. It's built on his life. Want to know the trick? Build competence. Get good at something. Own your time. Keep your promises. Do what you said you'd do, even when no one's watching. Confidence isn't a mood, it's a habit. It grows every time you show up for yourself. It grows every time you do the hard thing, without telling anyone. It grows when you stop chasing applause and start building a solid life. You know what happens when you walk in with that kind of energy? She feels it. She feels safe. She feels excited. She starts wondering, who is this man? Why isn't he chasing me? Why do I feel like I want him to choose me? That's the power of silent confidence. No big talk, no showing off. Just presence. And presence speaks louder than any words. So if you want her respect, her attention, her longing, don't try harder. Just get better. And let your quiet energy do the talking. She checks her phone again. No message. No good morning. No what are you doing? And suddenly, she feels it. A strange little pull in her chest. A whisper in her mind that says, "Why isn't he chasing me?" That's the power of mystery. And most men never use it. You see, most guys try way too hard to be understood. They explain themselves. They always reply. They always say, yes. They let her know everything they're doing, thinking, and feeling. And guess what? That's how they kill attraction. Because women don't chase certainty. They chase curiosity. Let me ask you this. When was the last time a movie made you think, I have to keep watching? It was probably full of mystery, right? That's how you want to be. You don't need to be cold. You don't need to be rude. You just need to be less available and a lot more unpredictable. Don't tell her your every move. Don't give her all the answers. Don't always show up right away. Let her wonder, where is he? What is he thinking? Why am I not his main focus? That mystery? It burns in her mind. It makes her look for signs. It makes her miss you. It makes her crave your attention. And the moment you're not always there, you become a puzzle she wants to solve. That's when she starts chasing. Not because of tricks, but because of your lifestyle. You're busy. You're building. You're focused on you. And because you're not sitting around waiting for her text, she starts sending more. Most men lose this edge. They show too much, too soon. They tell her how much they care before she's even earned it. But the stoic man, he holds back, not to play games, but because his life is full. He doesn't need her attention, and that's exactly why she wants to give it. Here's the secret. Don't try to be a mystery. Just stop oversharing. Let your actions speak. Let her imagination do the rest. Because the moment she can't fully figure you out, she starts feeling you more. And that feeling, it haunts her in the best way. Calm is king. How stoic men use silence to control the storm. What if I told you that silence can scream louder than words? That calmness can crush chaos? That staying still while the world shakes is your secret weapon? Because here's the truth. Women don't trust the man who explodes. They trust the man who stands still. Let's be real for a second. You've probably been there. She says something cold, or gives you that weird silence, or acts distant, like she doesn't care. Your heart races. Your mind spins. You want to react. You want to text. You want to explain. You want to fix it right now. But if you do that, you lose your power. Because power doesn't chase. Power doesn't panic. Power doesn't beg for peace. Power creates peace. And a Stoic man, he is that peace. Detachment is not rejection. It's self-respect in disguise. Wait. What if letting go isn't losing? What if walking away doesn't mean you're weak, but finally strong enough to choose yourself? Here's the truth no one tells you. Detachment isn't some cold trick. It's not revenge. It's not a game. It's freedom. It's peace. It's power. Because when you stop needing her to choose you, you finally start choosing yourself. Listen carefully. You've spent too long chasing tiny signs. A small smile, a short reply, a maybe one day. You thought, if I just show her I care, if I wait long enough, if I prove I'm good enough, she'll love me back. But guess what? Real love doesn't need chasing. Real connection doesn't need proof. And a man with aura, a man with deep self-respect, he doesn't wait around for breadcrumbs. He doesn't settle for almost. He doesn't beg for attention. He walks away quietly, not to punish her, but to protect his energy. Detachment means this. You're allowed to care, but you don't have to suffer. You can love someone, but still choose peace when they don't love you fully. You can be kind, but also walk away when it starts to hurt more than it heals. And guess what happens next? That calm silence, that graceful distance, it doesn't push her away. It pulls her in. Because now, she sees a man who respects himself. She sees a man who isn't afraid to be alone. She sees a man with mystery and magnetism. The final truth. When you stop begging to be chosen, you become the one everyone notices. When you detach from outcomes, you step into your king energy. And from that place, you don't chase love, you attract it, not by games, not by force, but by being a man who always chooses peace over chaos, purpose over pain, self-respect over rejection. This is how the Stoic man lives. He doesn't just survive heartbreak. He transforms through it. And on the other side, he finds something better than her attention. He finds himself.